one of two stunt double guys from the movie. Two or three, yeah, there's so many. It's such an exciting scene. I think it's like 3 minutes long, but there's so many of you guys that make up one character. I know you're out of breath skateboarding. Skateboard legend right here, Road from Madrid, and I just want to ask you, tell us like how it all came about. I know you and Per were skating in Venice, doing a lot of freestyle. So freestyle is, for those of you who don't know, it's what Rodney Mullen and Bob would do, and it's flat land. So they're doing kick flips, a lot of stunts, and they're collecting money, tip-wise, in front of the Venice Beach, actually all up and down Southern California. So that's where the story begins, right? So I'm gonna let you talk, and then feel free to ask questions as we go. And thank you, John and Sarah, for being here too. Right on. Cheers. Here we go. Bob Schmelzer, everybody.
Let me get used to this mic thing. Yeah, back to John Macero. Thank you for bringing me out here. Called me up early this morning, said get your ass down. And yes, we used to be able to panhandle in Venice Beach. Pass the hat for money. They eventually changed the law that we couldn't do it. But every Saturday and Sunday, Per Wellender and I would grab a gazebo. It was about the fourth gazebo south, if you were, or no, fourth gazebo north if you went down to the beach. And that was kind of our spot. And Per had a cigar box that we'd collect money in. I had a Sony FH5, pretty heavy ghetto blaster, and we just passed the hat for money. And freestyle. That was every Saturday and Sunday for a good couple summers. And we'd actually pull in a couple $100 every day. And then one day at the end of one of our shows, this gentleman stuck his hand out with a business card and he said, you may not believe this, but I'm making a movie and I'm a skateboarder. And the business card was Bob Gale. And that's how we met. Yeah, wonderful person, still friends. Yeah, so that was it. That was the start of it. Next question.
Is it the back lot of one of the studios where you were skating it?
The set Amblin Productions. Yes, Amblin Productions was back lot of Universal Studios. And so we were back there the whole time.
So you gotta tell me Eric Stoltz was the first actor. That's why he's such a great lookalike.
Oh, I thought it looked just like Michael Fox. So yeah, that was the fun part, actually, because when I went to the casting call, it was me, Per Wellender, who was a shorter, stocky, Swedish guy with blonde hair, and a stuntman named Terry Jackson. Terry Jackson was a big dude, and out of the doorway comes Eric Stoltz, the original actor. And it was pretty obvious, because I looked at him, he looked at me, we're like the same, same height, same look. And the casting director said, yeah, that's easy, Bob, stand forward. And I stood forward, stood next to Eric, and it was pretty cool. They said, we're gonna, a little bit of hair dye, a little bit of makeup, and it's good. And so they got rid of the red in his hair and got rid of some of his freckles. And I went to work. Yeah, it's about 8 weeks filming on the set. I met this man right here, Johnny. We had a lot of free time. Back then it was a trip because Walter Scott was amazing. I wish he was here now. I owe everything to Walter as far as keeping me proper and sane on the set. He's the stunt coordinator. And Walter was the one that said, it's the way it is. It's all about hurry up and wait, So you just got to be on call and be ready, and so they don't need to tell an AD to go get you. And a lot of time I met Johnny, and there was some free time, and I think we did a lot of skateboarding together on the side. And saw some cool things, saw Crispin Glover trip out one day over the food menu being the same every week. It was hilarious, yeah. The coolest thing about it was when Crispin had his little fit. I don't want to get into it. It was pretty awesome. And maybe even justified. But I looked over and saw Christopher Lloyd just shaking his head with this grin on his face. I'll never forget. It was the best look ever. It was great. Well, J. Fox came into it after, right? So I was there for 6 weeks, and then they let him go. I guess they got Michael out of his family ties thing, to where he actually was doing both. We didn't speak much, and I didn't realize why, really, because he was tired. He was going from one set to the other, and he was driving back and forth. I mean, that man put in work. So a lot of respect to Michael Fox, but yeah, we never really built a relationship because I don't think he had any energy for it, Per might have because they did more time together, but all my stuff was with Eric Stoltz mostly till the end. And I was stuck around for a little bit in case they needed some changes or whatnot. And but yeah, I was there for the scene when Eric Stoltz was not really feeling the scene of what was it? Tell the rain you're my density, and he kind of thought that was stupid. He wouldn't do it the way Zemeckis and Bob wanted it done. So I think that was one of his final straws, you know. That was fun. So what I did was I got hit by the car. That was my main contribution. I was the one that did the 180 slide and got hit by the 46 Ford. Got a legend right here too. So.
And then Bob, you helped with the prop department. You took 1980 components, boards, trucks, and wheels, and you all used artistic license, I guess, to make it look like if it was these metal wheels and stuff, because these are very hard to ride. So they wanted to have them comfortable and used what they could do. So can you tell us about that, like the grip tape and stuff, like it was painted?
Yeah, it was just standard piece of wood. Like, you know, everything comes from the roller skate cut in half. It was to look like that. So I was riding for Bones in Indy, and the Bones, it was wrap bones painted white with the inside painted red ring to look like the old steel wheels. I mean silver with red ring. And it was independent trucks because it was skinny board, so it was freestyle board, which is what I was used to, small truck. And the grip tape was painted to look like wood. And there was a little wedge tail on it. A lot of boards before kicktails and bent tails were made were wedge tails, right? I'm sure Jerry's made a couple wedge tails of it originally. And so yeah, the first board was really a wedge tail. We made it to look like the roller skate cut in half.
And then in the beginning of the movie, you'll see Marty's high school, his family's high school, and there's some graffiti out front. Could you tell us a little bit about that? And also who went to that Whittier High School as well?
It is kind of crazy on that end because for a couple of reasons. One, my parents went to Whittier High School. And that's where they met. That was in the 50s. On top of that, my dad to this day drives a 46 Ford, but his is a hot rod. And yeah, it was crazy. And both John Lucero and I were born at Whittier Presbyterian one day apart. So, yeah, a lot of crazy, things. But yeah. There was graffiti in the front, like Matt was saying, and when I got there, they were doing some graffiti, and they asked me, being a skateboarder, if I'd want to make it more legit. So I put my, built to grind, and me plus my girlfriend at the time's name. And I remember Eric Stoltz coming in for a minute too, and we shared chalk, and that's when I realized he skated because he wrote a couple things that were core as well. And so it's kind of a shame that he didn't get to finish the movie because it would have been more pure looking from a skateboarder standpoint, because not only were they be the same size, unlike me and Michael, but he actually had more comfort on the skateboard himself. So, yeah. Did you skate with him at all? Okay. I didn't have a chance to skate with Eric, but glad you did. Well, yeah, it's funny. I am glad they got the part out of the gate, of course, but to get in the union, to get in SAG, you need to be Taft-Hartley. And to be Taft-Hartley, you have to do something special. You have to have some special thing, And so my special thing was only one available to do the skateboard stunt double that could double Eric Stoltz. But Per got his Taft-Hartley because he got manure dumped on him. So, but he still got it. That's good.
I asked Per if he got hurt. He said there was a little bit of whiplash involved because on the third try they really had to hit it. He said the guy who owned the truck was like, "Don't do it too hard," because he knew he was going to get messed up, but he didn't want to pay for a lot of damages. But yeah, Per said it is fake shit. But yeah, he says skateboarders are tough. That's what he says.
Now I get to ask Per what the extra was for the difficulty there, because they add that. I remember when I failed the first time, getting hit by the car, I just grabbed onto the bumper. Luckily, a bumper to a 46 Ford is quite large, and there was enough room away from the front right tire and my feet to where I didn't get hit. And afterwards, I'm just like upset because I didn't give them what they wanted. And Walter Scott pulled me aside and said, we'll get an adjustment for that. And I'm like, what's an adjustment? It's a good thing.
the opening of the movie was Marty in detention, and you were supposed to do a couple stunts leaving the school. Could you talk about that a little bit and why they ended up filming at Universal a lot as well?
Yeah, one of the first skate items was supposed to be me doing a boneless out of the school, out of Whittier High School, the steps, and it's just too obvious, you know. Even if that was all done, it's like you got the camera looking straight at me as I'm falling in, so it just got cut because of that. And before we even started filming, Walter Scott took us. I can't remember where, but some place where there was a staircase, a flat, another staircase. It was a cut through a park of an entire intersection. And me, Pear, and Terry Jackson went there. And it was hilarious because what he wanted as a stunt coordinator was like, can you jump from here to there? Just clear all the stairs and just jump it. And we want to put that in as one of the chase scenes. And me and Pear looked at each other and like, no. You know, and we knew all the best skaters. We knew Jeremy Ray and other people that could do it at the time, possibly. But actually, at that time, nobody had done anything that gnarly. I want to go back to the spot badly now because now I probably have people in my phone book that could do it. But back then, no, it was impossible. But Terry Jackson was like, I'll do it. You know, he's a stuntman. He'll do anything. He had a skateboard. It was very outdated and old Sims board and. Walter Scott pulled me and Pear aside and he said, look, I'd like to let him try this, but I need your professional opinion. And there's no way. He's just gonna eat it. There's no way. Yeah, but I guess I should let him try.